Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I just wanted to hop on and cover a quick topic, or let's say phrase that keeps coming through, which is the ability to allow ourselves to go beyond. I'm hearing, how far will you allow yourself to venture outside of your comfort zone before you contract or revert back into familiar ways of being? I'm seeing it as the nervous system regulation being the forgotten language, in terms of we have essentially created this equation that doesn't make sense as quantum beings, which is equating unfamiliarity or instability, things that we cannot predict, things that we are not familiar with, things that we don't have a point of reference with, as being dangerous. But what if we explored the unknown realms through the lens of a child or through the lens of the soul? Children see magic because they're looking for it. And there's this energy of just allowing yourself to go beyond. So we're going to go ahead and do a reading on this. How are you guys in the chat? Hello, everyone who comes into alignment with this message after. But yeah, I'm going to pull one message on this. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more, where sometimes when the human notices the same patterns, the same people, the same situations, the same experiences that are just being reinforced in the world around you, it reminds me of the scene of Coraline, where when she first ventures through this, wormhole and she enters into the other world, she recognizes that what's being rendered around her within her experience is simply an extension of what is familiar to her. It's within the terrains of what she has been, let's say, limited to in range of timelines. It is built from the limitations of her previous experience. It's what she has previously allowed herself to explore. Now, outside of the realms of her known explorations exist many other timelines of experience. And we see this scene of the black cat that is essentially a guide. It's like her intuition, essentially, where he can speak in the other world and not her original world. And the cat begins guiding her. And as she ventures beyond what's comfortable, as she ventures into what is known, this entirely new world begins to render or collapse into the system around her. It begins rendering into existence. And reality works very similarly to this. That whole scene is showing that, it's not that. No, it's not that. It's like, if your identity never changes, then your experiences will never change. If you identify yourself with blocking off vast portions of your potential because you're suppressing entire dimensions of yourself that are desiring to be expressed, that are desiring to emerge and to experience and to explore in this third dimension, then you won't experience anything more, okay? But when you begin embodying that alternative identity and you begin honoring the calling of the soul, then you literally give the simulation new instructions. And the quantum realm is like, that if you're setting out a transmission that you're receptive to new experiences is what it is that we're going to give you. So, suddenly these experiences that you couldn't find before begin appearing, as if they've been waiting for you all along to just apply yourself accordingly in the physical realm, to create space between your old world of whom it is that you've been versus whom it is you're becoming, and the new world in which you're getting acquainted with. And so you have not yet experienced all the versions of yourself that exist within you, within the seed that is planted underground. That seed underground seems to mistake its current stage or current identity as its final form, when in reality, within the seed holds the DNA, which is inside of you. You hold the DNA and the memory of everything that you've been and everything that you have the potential of becoming. So there's that type of element in essence that's coming through. Thank you so much, Aladdin's, for your super sticker. You're deeply, deeply appreciated. Thank you so much, beautiful soul. May the energy that you send out return to you tenfold, rippling through the quantum and arriving into your experience through all forms of abundance, expected and unexpected. And that was the message. It was, when you start doing things that are unexpected and shaking up the algorithm within your life, you can expect more of those brilliant, unknown experiences to reveal themselves to you. And that may be opportunities, it may be people, it may be timelines that are designed to meet this version of you. You know, you are yet to meet all the beings on your path that you'll have these conversations with that can shift the frameworks of how you're viewing yourself or your potential on this planet. You are yet to experience all the opportunities that lie existing within the quantum realm right now. So even, I'm just seeing it as breaking free, because we've had the arbitrary energy keep coming through again and again, which is breaking free from patterns of behavior that have created this ecosystem of experiences that you know, okay, you've explored and you know them well. And there's something about finding, I'm seeing it as nested realities, like ecosystems within those ecosystems. For example, I was speaking about this today as far as maybe experiencing your comfort zone as your hometown, but allowing yourself to go beyond. That could be taking a different route to work or home. That may be signing up for some kind of class and meeting new people. That could be, you know, going to a different grocery store than you typically would. There's things you're able to implement to create space. And I'm seeing it as it's a card of parsec, which talks about the distance between two events, but it's about creating the pause for a new flow. It definitely reminds me of the void card energy of the silence has never been so loud. Okay, so how are you guys doing? Where are you in the world? Let me know in the chat. Where are you in the world? And yeah, what time is it for you? Because where I am now, it's like much earlier. And I know a lot of you in the Americas just got back from the supermarket I don't normally go to. I love to hear that, Miss Eo. I love to hear that. Time travel, Alaska. Wow. And starting my refrigerator compressor. Yeah. So expect the unexpected when you begin doing the unexpected. I'm seeing it as become, you know, a mystery even to yourself. There is that element of childlike surprise that, yeah, the relationship between genius and genie. I don't know, you'd have to tell me. Take some chipping away. Thank you, Dib343. A ready comment just came from Rainbow. Message from last month commented, and now I'm here. A portal opens. I love to hear that. Rainbow. I feel like that's like an inside joke now at this point for anyone that watched that far in the video. Yeah, I love that. If you came from that message, I really hope that assists you on your earthy navigations. I really enjoyed sharing that quantum cinema message. So it was such a pleasure to do. I think next I'm going to dive deep into how to actually clear the chakra systems, which we've done on some meditations on the channel anyway, but it's less about relying on external, let's just say, conduits, and actually beginning to implement those practices into our everyday life. So this is where meditation doesn't just become like a compartmentalized practice, but it's essentially an ongoing state of awareness where we move through this realm with this level of lucidity that remains, because this also bleeds into many other dimensional exchanges, and we're able to navigate those exchanges trusting ourselves. So yeah, there's an element of learning how to work with your own energy centers. These are like kinetic velocity generators, clearing up that dense debris, being able to go into each one of these portals that exist within us, and essentially how to navigate our own interstellar abilities, right? How to travel within our own internal realms. So yeah, let me know in the comment section in the playback if that's something that you'd like to see. And I'll definitely integrate that more into the channel. I feel like we're evolving towards this direction just naturally. So yeah, it's less about becoming dependent externally on it and more for each and every single one of you to tune into the pure potential that already lies within within you, right? The human vessel is it's a sacred vehicle, and if we can understand how the vehicle functions, then did I say functions? Functions, then we can master the mechanics of spirit navigating the physical form, essentially, right? So understanding our karma-based life form vessel, how to make sure that it's most conducive. You spent too much time in Mexico. I'm no longer in Mexico. I spent a couple months there, you know. All right, ancestral realm is the first message that's coming through. So karmic release, healing, the lineage, and boundaries. So yeah, this is DNA, okay? As you can see, it's holographic DNA, it's etheric DNA. And then you have the end of a cycle. So there's definitely a cycle in which you're closing out ancestrally. Now, ancestral realm and the boundaries is you saying, hey, no more. We no longer need to navigate life in this way. And again, that could be what has been adopted or conditioned. Okay, this is like behavioral mechanisms that we adopt as we navigate this construct. And many of it has been inherited ancestrally. Okay, this is aspects that have been passed down epigenetically that our avataring is encoded with, and also how we have become a product to our environments, especially growing up. And so the boundaries is saying, let's bridge the gap between my true self and the one who had experienced this level of disconnection from our own divinity. And we can once again bridge the gap between our human nature and our divine nature, and no longer see that as separate, compartmentalized aspects. And there's an element to it of what many of us have, and I this came through in the astral realm last night, and I'll put a message out on it soon. It was about picking up as a child on our environment, especially the state of the nervous systems of those around us, and mistaking the energetic influences that did not only just surround us, but actually move through us as these conduits, and harboring those energies or sensations and emotions, and creating an identity around those highly charged events, creating a belief system about ourselves. And that could be being a product of unworthiness, that may be deep shame that has been carried throughout the lineage. It could be deep insecurity, it could be disconnection, disempowerment. And there is something that is transforming here, I see. So end of a cycle, new information and energetic shifts that are occurring. So this is all about cause and effect, and essentially you being seated inside of the effect of conscious or unconscious cause. So your life being a culmination of every decision that was made or every indecision that was made. And I'm seeing you finally being able to honor the decisions that you want to make in your own life's journey within this incarnation in a way that hasn't been able to be honored before by past versions of you, and also those who have come before you. And so you're understanding what those patterns of behavior are, and the one that was living inside of the pattern and the version of you that's now observing it can go back into these patterns and have this level of recognition. And this conscious awareness leads to consciousness behaving very differently once it brings awareness into these patterns. And so that becomes a destructive force because it creates a gap of separation between, do I want to repeat and just be an autopilot repeating ancestral loops, or do we want to create a point of divergence from what has been and open up? I'm seeing a new realm of possibilities, but I'm seeing it as a corridor. So it reminds me of like the infinite corridor where, yeah, it's like journeying through the multiverse. Okay, anyway. So let me see. What are you guys saying? Of the North Star, close to your description of the North Star, very much. Yeah, it definitely reminds you of the Polaris reading for sure. You know, Polaris is coming back to the internal, eternal light within you. So no matter what changes happen in the external world around you, especially when it comes to instability or reconfigurations that take place, we are not attaching our emotional or internal state of being to essentially experiences that are designed to be temporal anyway. That is the purpose of evolution, for things to change. And so how can we stay graceful, poised, and present within our entire being amongst the changes that occur? How can we be seated inside of this stillness and choose to see through the cosmic lens what appears to be chaotic, and understand that even if the logical human mind doesn't understand the disorder that may be occurring right now as these shifts occur, we understand innately, we understand that there is a secret order to this process, and we can admire and step back and trust in the higher intelligence that is moving through all things. Nostra. 𝓂𝓪𝓭𝓪. 𝓂𝓪𝓭𝓪 is beautiful. Well, yeah, that's the it's the phoenix. So another earth. Trust my hearts. Right, let's go ahead and get one message closing out. I just wanted to hop on here. I mean, the new heart, you know, it unfolds from you. It unfolds within you. It's here now. It's not somewhere in the future. You know, this is you witnessing the journey of your own becoming. This third dimension offers us a privilege that no other dimension offers us, which is the journey. And the journey itself is the meaning of life. You know, when people say it's not about the destination, it's the journey. Yeah, we get the privilege of experiencing the illusion of separation from being the seed into experiencing our becoming of the evolution into the tree. That infinite potential lies dormant within the seed. Whether the seed chooses to acknowledge what is within its DNA doesn't negate the fact of the potential that exists within it. You know, that's within every single human. Like whether an infinite fractal potential chooses to acknowledge the fact that it's infinite potential doesn't negate the fact of what it actually is. And so there is beauty in that contrast of kind of forgetting one's light in order to remember it once again. That's the love of the game here. That's what we're all participating in, which is to remember that love of the game and just admire the construct of, oh yeah, I forget just to experience the desire of remembering. You know, that's innately what it is. So there is so much beauty in that. And I was saying today that that awareness is love. You know, love is a state of awareness. It's the ability to be seated in the stillness and observe the complexities and the contrast that occurs within this dimension. And part of that contrast is we are all beings that have met ourselves to, you know, different depths. But the acknowledgement of those depths doesn't negate the fact of how far those depths go for every single one of us. And the depth is that we all emerge from the same source. We've all sprung forth from the same source, and we will all return back to the same source, because the universe is one single being, one emanation that's different in only seeming. And so, you know, someone can say that they love you with their lips, but their heart may be very distant. And that's because a being cannot be super present with you in the eternal now, experiencing these temporal moments through time, when they have not been seated yet inside of the stillness of their own heart. Oh, we have tidal force. I don't even know when this came out. Tidal force is, I don't know, I love this system that we designed and that we're seated within. You can find beauty in even the most mundane interactions. When there is no desire to be understood, there is no desire to be seen, there is no desire to just you can just be in this existence. That's ultimate liberation. You know, you can speak and have conversations with anyone. It doesn't matter what depth they've met themselves, and you can find the beauty within each and every being, you know. And not on an egoic level where it's like, I know something that you don't. It's more of a, oh, you're on such a beautiful journey back home to yourself. We all are, you know? You feel me? So yeah, you have tidal force, which is the unconscious and the conscious parts. It reminds you of, I was doing Qigong yesterday in the ocean. And it just reminds you of, I was in a riptide as well when I was doing it. And it was so much fun, but it's just being able to dance with the waves of change, and that's something you have this innate ability to do, become fluid once again. This system is far more malleable than what we've been conditioned to believe, than what we've been taught to believe. Reality is not static by any means. You don't just have one destiny that's handed or given to you. It's not predetermined. The quantum realm is infinite. It's a continuous summation of infinite quantum paths encoded into your field as a wave of possibility. And what you can foresee within your mind can be something that you can soon look at in the physical material existence if you apply yourself accordingly. That intention is kinetic energy. Once supported with action, it creates velocity, generates this momentum that then collapses into part of your tangible creations. If you're able to support and bridge the gap between the vision and immaterial realm and ground and anchor that into the material. And so it's not just about ascending, and transcending this reality, but instead it becomes about you being spirit that has descended into matter in order to be able to anchor heaven onto earth. You're able to anchor this higher level of awareness as you navigate this construct. Now, with that level of awareness, you can fully engage and indulge in this beautiful, sensational, physical experience while still maintaining your connection to the more subtle realms. Because it is the realm of energy. And it's got some of us really good. Some of us have really, many deities that are lost in sleeping in matter. Yeah, there's so many esoterics, Aladdins. Easy way to look at it is what is Star Wars based on. I would say with all of this, ultimately individual awareness brings universal awareness. And when we have individual separation, it brings universal separation. And so we see this mirrored within many constructs. We see this within many subliminals. May the source be with you. Yes, and the source is always with you. You are the source itself. And so when we learn how to become our own source of empowerment, we learn to become our own source of expression, creativity, safety, and security. We learn how to anchor that into our physical vessel. Ultimately, it's in needing nothing from the external that we are able to stay rooted and grounded within this awareness. We are able to restore and return and sustain harmonic order within our being, and then consciously exchange our life force with this system. And that bleeds into many different realms. We can trust ourselves in the exchange of energy itself. And so many of us are still learning that. The archetype by vibrating at right now is the Wheel of Fortune, or what I like to refer to as the foolish magic. I love that, Patrick. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune is, it's divine turning points. But you know what, one thing I love about the Wheel of Fortune, if you look at the original depiction or illustration, it shows the Fool, and there are versions of him that are like holding on for dear life when he's by the bottom of the wheel. And then there's versions of him that are like up here at the top, where he's on top of the world. And it kind of reminds me of if our internal state of being is like a leaf in the wind, and it's just governed completely by what's happening in the external realm around us, so much so that it kind of pulls us away from our own divinity, then we'll be just riding these waves, right? We'll be like a tidal force. Our life will feel like a tidal force, like we're just drifting within the riptides. But what the Fool is yet to learn is that if he places himself in the 0 point, if he places himself in the center of the wheel, then he's able to just observe in that stillness. He's no longer going up and down, riding the waves of change, but he is becoming one with the wheel itself. He's becoming one with the changes, because he's not just a being that's localized, experiencing these points of time within the field. He is the entire field experiencing his localized vessel. And so he's allowing himself to be held within each change. He's allowing himself to be held through each season, each turning point. And that is like the beauty of the tarot itself and this archetype as well. So yeah, sweet guys, life force energy. Yes, and there's huge like intentional redirections of life force as well that we're all being called you know, into. I'll talk about that soon. Again, he places himself exactly in the center of the storm, in the eye of the storm. So yeah, so beautiful. Hello, Anya from California is here. Hello. Hello, everyone. Oh, hi, Tanya. How many generations back and forth benefit from us working? Yeah. Karma. I believe that we're carrying it since the beginning of time. You know, we must remember that as we heal in the present moment, we are clearing up a lot of dense debris that has existed and has just been passed through generations. It's almost a form of like retrocausality or really quantum healing, where as we heal ourselves in the present, we're not just healing us, we're healing all those parallel. That ripples out throughout the field. And also we're able to model a different example to those around us within our lineage and our fellow humans, right? Our fellow space-time travelers, as we embody this example. Source will see the, yeah, I mean, within us exists the memory of source, right? Exists the DNA of source. We always have that source code. Are you familiar with the concept of spiral dynamics? I would see that as the fractal nature, right? So sometimes we come back again, we are inside of a pattern unconsciously and we're playing out these dynamics. And then when we bring awareness, sometimes by stepping outside of them, we can come in and do something that we weren't able to do before. And that's because we've learned something of great value since the last time around. So we're literally seated at a higher coordinate within the Fibonacci sequence, within the spiral. And so we are able to, once we transcend it, we can absorb the emotional data within that dimension, okay, where that experience or the lessons that play out occupy that realm. And so we can even come back into the realm and bridge, or let's just say anchor in this higher level of awareness and then apply that into the dynamic. And often when we heal that, there's a couple things that can happen. Mainly with the spiral, what tends to happen is that we just fall out of resonance with this specific dynamic, but it really depends on the context. But ultimately, it's the ability to become your own source and meet your own unmet needs and do something that you weren't able to do before, right? Show up for past versions of yourself that weren't able to do something. Thank you so much, Robert, for your super chat that you sent on paper right now. If you're watching, you're deeply appreciated. May the energy that you sent out continue to ripple through the cosmos and return back into your experience tenfold, collapsing into reality through all forms of abundance, expected and unexpected. Yeah, so let me know what you guys are doing to shake up the algorithm. I didn't think you guys were going to be up. I thought it was going to be a bit early. But I thought I'd just hop on here before I get started with my personal sessions. Yeah, very much karma. All karma is the cause and effect that occurs, right? So often we're seated inside of a culmination of decisions that were made and sometimes indecisions that were made, and those are the lineages that we're called forth into. So you're literally called forth by resonance through what it is that the soul desires to experience, what the soul is still learning to kind of transcend within the material realm throughout lifetimes. And so it serves both parties' evolution, and your lineage and ancestral realm is essentially one body of consciousness, okay? So you are the formation of their entire essence, and you emerge forth as an expression of that essence. Now, simultaneously, within this essence lie dimensions that have been suppressed, and part of those dimensions carry tools and abilities and gifts that can be alchemized and accessed and restored once these wounds are acknowledged and healed and integrated. And so as we go through that refinement process, we can ascend into a higher octave. Again, I always talk about DNA as something that isn't fully expressed when it's been suppressed down with, you know, really dense vibrations. So this is like low vibrational ways of thinking and feeling about your experiences or resonating to your experiences in the tangible plane. It tells a story of the history that has played out within the lineage of how they've experienced energetic exchanges within their life on Earth. Okay, so whether that's been them operating in survival, we'll see those reoccurring patterns that could be themes of betrayal that have occurred throughout the lineage. And so we'll pick up on that pattern recognition through neutral observation of that appearing within our own life experiences. And we understand that those experiences didn't start with us, but they can end with us. We can choose to no longer play out those archetypal roles. And I've done this on the solar plexus reading. So that is no longer seeing other people as a perpetrator or yourself as a victim, especially with, you know, collective injustices. Many of us still harbor onto deep anger and deep resentment for larger systems that ultimately have been created since Gaia took on and accepted soul contract or agreements for contrast in this dimension in order to experience the laws of duality. And so we have larger systems that, you know, it's all in perfect design. It's all an intricately self-designed system that attempt to suppress, right, the shadow realms. And then we also have the light aspects. And we are all multidimensional beings. So we hold both aspects within us. And we're constantly choosing between our pure destructive potential or our creative potential and being able to create in a more conscious and conducive way. So, you know, being able to treat our fellow space-time travelers with respect, with awareness, with conscious exchange, with compassion, with recognition. So yeah. Anyway, it's a deep topic. I go into this every day, so it's yeah. Hi Joseph, I hope you're well. Dharma positive, negative karma. Yeah, I mean, we want to get to the point where, and I feel I resonate with this a lot as a life path 9. You want to get to the point where it's not about karmic debt owed or karmic credit even due. We want to arrive back to the 0 point of, okay, we have now neutralized our relationship with the matrix as a whole, which means we're not attaching to the stories that have played out, the characters that have played parts in those stories. We're understanding the beauty hidden within the infinity of all things, the infinite nature that exists within all things, that lies and expresses itself through all things. It's like the 𝓡ocus energy, you know, the teaching that I did on 𝓡ocus. She transcends the 12 archetypal systems. And so she's no longer operating under the laws of time. She may be allowing time to express and experience itself through her as she navigates this realm. But she knows that she branches and extends far beyond the system. And so while she's anchored into the system and exchanges in this dimension, she's able to hold that level of awareness, understanding that it's not her all. It's one-dimensional aspect. It's how that frequency or consciousness collapses into form. And I'm seeing the translation of that frequency, how that frequency translates into the material realm. I'm seeing it as the soul's intentions to grow and evolve and experience, and how those specific intentions translate into the physical realm. What does that look like in exchange? What does that look like in what it is that you want to create? Yes. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, I just want to hop on here real quick. I will go though. I want to get these personal sessions out, and yeah. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your super chats as well. Joseph said, hold your breath while breathing. Simulate the feeling. That is so deep. I always feel that when I'm very deep in ceremony as well. You recognize that there's a higher intelligence that breathes through you. You realize that your breath is one breath with the cosmos. When you breathe, the earth breathes through you. When you breathe, the entire universe breathes through you. And you breathe as one. Your lungs become one. Everything in the system is one breath. Breath is cosmos, consciousness. Yeah, breath is cosmos, I guess. That's what needed to come out. My breath, my will. Conscious breath. You are the ether that you breathe. So, beautiful souls, I'm gonna go and enjoy your, what is it today, Friday. Enjoy your Friday, enjoy your Thursday, whatever time it is, whatever day it is on your side of the globe. Most underrated blessing, tool, gift, back to the fundamentals. It is. It really is, Joseph. It really is. Getting back to the very basics. You know, if we are humble enough, anything becomes our teacher. Breath is something that you don't even have to consciously think about, and it happens. Abundance is the same. Our relationship to anything in this realm is only a reflection of the relationship to ourselves. I'm hearing we don't control the breath, but we learn to direct it. And that is the experience of consciousness itself. Our consciousness goes and suspends into timelines wherever we choose to direct it. The breath is always there. We simply become aware of what's always occurring, of what's always working on our behalf, what always will, what always has been, and what is. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so that was amazing. Abundance is the same. To you. Miss L. Much love to you. Thank you for this amazing live chat. Well, thank you guys for being here. This is a complete co-creation, you know. We wouldn't have just picked up on that magic together, the essence of that magic, without this. So thank you for every single one of you just who are present, who are doing this work, who are anchoring that awareness into the grid, and who are just consciously exchanging with the world around you and reconnecting with your own divinity. Reconnect with your human nature and your divine nature, and recognize the divinity within all human beings, because that's ultimately what we are. Divine beings disguised and displaying themselves and their unique frequencies through these human forms. That's what it is. Do it for the love of the game. I love this game. I don't know about you. We're building a system outside of the system. Yeah. We're unveiling the original system within this system. So, yeah. Beautiful. 555 in New York City. I love to hear that. Big changes. I saw 555 as well earlier today. Love it. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for your super chat as well. 𝓬𝓪𝓻𝓵𝓭 transcendent artistry. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. May the energy that you send out return to you tenfold. And yeah, hopefully we'll hop on here again soon. You guys have such beautiful comments with the universe experiencing itself as energy on a quantum level. Yeah. We just energy compress into the densest form. That's what this dimension is. And if you can remain lucidity in this realm, it's an ongoing state of awareness. So trust yourself. Come back to that stillness. Anchor that stillness as you move through the complexity of your surroundings. And admire the design. So thank you for this exchange inside of this communication hub. I love it. maybe all go back out and disperse into our space-time travels, sustaining and holding this level of awareness. I'm definitely gonna hop on here at some point soon and we'll start integrating a lot more meditations on the channel. So they got me last time when we did the one together. We're going to be doing some big ones together. It was very powerful. I could feel it very strongly. So thank you for the work that you're doing and keep being magical. And until next time, hi Indie Sounds.